Hi everyone, good afternoon. How is everyone today? If you can hear me, can you give me the thumbs up or a yes or just come
Yes.
up and say hello?
Hi, I can hear you.
Perfect, welcome. Um, I also want to indicate a little bit of the navigation for the collaborate. You have the little emojis on the chat box where you see the bubbles. So let me see until everybody says hello. So Zora and Christy and Dustin, Carrie, but we have few more of you there. So it would be great if you, Jennifer. Yes, and Jennifer. I would like to start when everybody has said hello because then I know everybody can hear us. We have some support. Hi, Zara. Okay, is that a waving or you want to say something? Because you put your hand up. That means I'm going to take it that yes, you can hear me. Sominu says, hi Zora, everyone's audio is muted for now. We suggest to keep it muted unless you have a question. In that case, you can raise your hand and then we can unmute you. And this is a really good rule of thumb for everyone today. Um, there's Jessica typing hello. And there's a few more people who haven't said hello. And so far, so good with audio and video. In the camera, you can see me. My name is Mari Pigini. I'm the cohort advisor for the online Masters in Early Childhood Education. And to my right, we have the wonderful Minu Trang, who is the ETS, Educational Technology Services rover, and is a student here at UBC and is supporting us for a little bit with any communications. And pretty soon you will also be seeing Vicky Domansky. I'd like to introduce her very, very soon. And just making sure, however, that while we have Minu here supporting us, that everybody is on board. Hi, Melissa. So as you come and say hi, if you would like to say something, can you go to the next slide? Please say something about who you are and where are you coming today. You can pick up your mic or you can type it. As you say hello, that would be wonderful to know a little bit of where's everybody. So Carrie and Jessica and Dustin and yes, be great if you did that because then we have a sense of who is here. Carrie, hello from Vancouver to Toronto. Thank you for joining us here. Again, don't feel shy. Part of this conversation is that we hear your voices. Not everybody has a mic, I know. You're very excited. I'm very excited to have you here too. Christy, I'm from Rocky View Schools, Northern Horseshoe around Calgary. Welcome, Christy. Jennifer, go ahead. Yes, take the mic.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I'm in Vernon, British Columbia.
Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Zora Zamir, and I can't talk if I am unmuted. Yes, when you unmute, right, then you can talk. Anybody else?
Hello, can you hear me, Dr. Mary?
Yes. Is that Zora?
Yes, yes.
Hello, Zora.
I'm from Calgary, and I've been into the space of early childhood education for the last 10 years, and I teach at a private school. Right now, I teach math to the junior kindergarten children.
Thank you, Zora. Thank you for introducing yourself. And Jessica
Yes,
is in Calgary, and
thanks.
Dustin, an instructor of early childhood education at Northwest College in Edmonton, Alberta. Welcome, Dustin. Yes, Northwest. I know it's not Northwest. Uh, one of our colleagues and instructors is also associated with your college, and I know it really well. Welcome, Shannon and Soli. And so, yeah, so there's Jennifer from Vernon. Literacy intervention teacher in the curriculum department. Wonderful. I know. You know about our correct.
Okay.
Anybody else who just came in? We have a few seconds. Having trouble with the audio. I can't hear anything. I'm a grade 1 teacher in Hazleton, BC. How come you cannot hear anything? You cannot hear my voice? Can you hear my voice, Melissa? Minu is going to follow up with you to see what's going on there. It's important that the audio is there. Yvette, can we see who else is in the attendees so that we? Okay, so we heard from pretty much, and we're missing from Shannon and Soli, and from Zara.
She's on telephone though.
Okay, who is on telephone?
Zara.
Zara Ravari. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Zara. I just hope that you can hear us. The session is being recorded, so you will be able to listen to it later on. And Lisa, says that. Okay, so. Okay, so I'm just gonna get started while this audio gets settled up or settled down with the agenda, and we're about a few minutes shy from 3:15, which is when we started the information to begin. And officially, welcome. I am so excited that you have made the time and the effort to be here on afternoon or evening or night, depending where you are. And my name is Mari Pigini, and I am the cohort advisor for the Early Childhood Education Online Master program cohort. And this work is impossible to do unless we work together in an amazing program team. And we have the greetings from our director, Marlene Aslin, who cannot be here today, as she is also engaged with another cohort and program that is also being featured today. But she says hello and expresses her warmest greetings and welcome to all. And right away, I would like to introduce you to two important people. One is Yvette Karuba, and one is Vicky. The other person is Vicky Domansky. And I'm going to ask first Yvette to introduce herself. You won't see her, but you will listen to her. And then Vicky, if you would like to come to the camera, then that would be great. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Yvette, and I will be covering the admissions and application process. So all of your questions, I hopefully will answer all of your questions, and also have received some questions which I will address. Thank you.
And Yvette is a senior program assistant with Professional Development Community Engagement, which is the unit that coordinates our program. And transitioning, so once you are admitted to the program, you will be working with.
Hi, I'm Vicky Domansky, and I'm also a senior program assistant. And yes, as Mari says, I'll be transitioning into providing the support for the admission support and the full program support, which I've always done for the early childhood online cohort.
Exactly. Yes. Vicky has worked with us with early childhood diploma and certificate launching that whole cohort, which has been a massive enterprise. And it's wonderful to be working all of us together. So.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. And you will hear more of Vicky's voice and Yvette's voices as we progress. So Dustin is saying, my wife, Ana Cristina, is also interested in your program and is an assistant director in a childcare center here in Sherwood Park. Fantastic, because she will be able to listen to the whole presentation. So as we begin with introductions, I would like to proceed, and we're really on time because we have less people coming to do the introductions, but we're going to be ready to start a little bit earlier with the admission information that Yvette Karuba is going to be providing. And before we do that, because it's a very important piece of the program this afternoon, I want to make sure that everybody is hearing. So there's Shannon saying hello to all, finally figuring out the controls of kindergarten teacher in Kelowna, BC. That's great. Welcome, Shannon. And someone else just popped in suddenly and we lost her. Sole, we still don't know from you. Bonnie. Yes, Bonnie. Bonnie, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Perfect. Hello, Bonnie. Where are
Hi.
you? Where from? Yes.
I'm from Richmond, BC, and I teach in a K1 classroom, and my school is Mitchell Elementary School.
Welcome. So we have a couple of people from BC, and then we have Alberta, and we have Ontario, right? And so welcome everyone. In the other cohorts, we have also people from the Maritimes and people living abroad. So you know, you never know in the end once the applicants are all, you know, reviewed who gets in and from which part of the world. So if you can hear us, that's excellent. If you are not speaking, then please mute your mic so that the background noise or sounds are not there. I think I'm missing Soli. Hi, Sole. We can hear someone, and it must be you. Oh, you're typing. Okay, perfect. I also want to say why Soli types that we received a few questions from you that I have here, and Vicky very kindly printed for us. And the questions I see are going to be addressed in the presentation. So if you're a little bit patient, your question will come in, but we will have time at midpoints during the presentations also for questions. Okay. Hi, there's an H from Soli. The H escaped. The important thing is that you can hear us. Yes, come in. You can hear us well. Okay, perfect. And if you don't want to talk, then you can mute your mic. And maybe you can say us something else about where you come and the program. You're welcome. I wanted to say that the first part of the presentation is going to be administered by Yvette Karuba. So Yvette is going to begin with all the admission requirements. So Soli, I'm from Italy. Me and my family moved to Vancouver 2 months ago. Oh, welcome. Benvenuta, Sole. I didn't say anything about myself, so I'll say very quickly. I am living in Vancouver for many years, and I am Venezuelan, so I speak Spanish, but my dad was Italian, and I speak Italian as well with a Venezuelan accent, so it's nice to have people from everywhere here. Prego. Prego, Sole. Okay, so I think without further ado, we can get started in the admissions. And after Yvette finishes her part, we can have questions for that. And I'll check if there's any questions on the text.
Hi again, everyone. I'm going to cover, it's Yvette, and I'll be covering the admissions and applications process. So just a few pieces of information. This program will start next September 2020. It's a program that's 2.5 years. It is completely online and part-time. So you won't be coming here for any courses unless you wish to.
Well, hope that they come for
Further. So what we're looking for, the admission requirements, we're looking for a 4-year undergraduate degree with a B+ or 76% at UBC in all of your senior level courses, which are 300 level and above. or a B minus, or sorry, a B range, like 68% with a 4-year undergraduate degree plus a B Ed. Now, if you do not meet those conditions, the 76% B plus or B minus or B with a B Ed, then your application is considered a special case. And in that case, the admissions committee would review your application and determine if you're a good candidate for the program. If you are, then they will write what is called a special case rationale on your behalf to the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies to recommend you for admission to the program. So please do not be discouraged if you do not meet that requirement. Your whole application will be reviewed, and I'll be going through the other pieces that are required for admission to the program. We also need you to order 2 official sealed transcripts from all post-secondary institutions that you've attended, with the exception of UBC, because I have access to any UBC records. Now, when you order these official transcripts, we would like you to open one, upload it front and back in a single file as a PDF. The other one can remain sealed, so if you are admitted to the program, the sealed transcript will go to the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies. But please do not send them any transcripts to me. You are to upload your transcripts to your application. And please ensure that your transcript says that you have graduated.
Is everybody following?
All right, I will cover the transcripts again. We ask that you order 2 official sealed transcripts from all post-secondary institutions that you have attended, with the exception of any UBC records, because I have access to those records. So we want you to upload one of those transcripts, well, from each post-secondary institution to your application. And we want you to do it on the, upload the front as well as the back in a single file as a PDF. And when I say the back of your transcript, I mean where the transcript key is located. Some people have it on a separate paper, and some people have it on the back of their transcript. I don't know what those scratch lines are. So the transcript key, grading key, they're called different names, has the value of different letter grades that you may have had on your transcript. And I need that to calculate for your application.
There's a question by Shannon. What about post-BEd enrichment courses from a variety of different colleges, universities as part of professional development? Do you want each of these?
Yes. Especially if you've received transcript of credit and it appears on your undergraduate degree transcript. And also, I think those other, where you've taken professional development will also help strengthen your application.
They help strengthen the application. They strengthen the CV and support what you have said on your CV. If you have credits for those, of course, that is even better, because then they can be put forth your application. And Zora is saying, does that mean just soft copies to be uploaded and non-hard copies to be mailed at the mailing address?
For your application, you will be uploading the transcripts.
Online.
Online, your online application. All your documents will have to be uploaded by you onto your application. The hard copy of the transcript is needed if you're admitted to the program, and that will go to the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, but not to me or my office or Vicki Demansky in this case, since she will be processing your application.
That's important that you say it, Yvette, because also students sometimes write to me, and as a cohort advisor, I'm not a part first of all, of this admissions committee, but also I don't receive the information that Vicky or that you receive. So it's very important that students know, am I admitted? Was I admitted? I don't know until the very end. I know when you know pretty much, and I'm not part of the decision purposefully, unless there is a special case. You're welcome.
Now, applicants whose degree is in an unrelated field, arts, commerce, general studies, may be accepted if they have completed a college or university certificate in a program in early childhood education that has a minimum of 18 credits in early childhood education. Do you want to speak to that, Mari?
Yes. So basically, they still need the degree that you have explained, but they would have a certain number of hours completed at the certificate or diploma level in exactly the same amount of credits that you have said. Having said this, they also need the professional experience that I'm sure you're going to talk. And I believe, Vicky, that in the past we also had students who had completed college, sort of college level degree, early childhood credits that they have been looked into, but it would be like a special case, if I remember correctly. So basically is at 300 or 400 level of college for early childhood education. So that you would have your arts degree on your what is it? Commerce degree, and then these additional credits, and then the professional experience.
We're also looking for a 500-word statement of intent. Do you want to speak to that, Mari?
Sure. Yes. So it's just like a summary of what is it that it entices you or motivates you to apply to this program, and what is it that you see happening later on professionally. And one of the questions, by the way, it does say here that if students can also open their own or this is something I receive also online. If students can open their own daycare, and if they get registered in ECE, for example, in the Early Childhood Educators of BC. So that would be great if that's your professional goal. This master's program does not provide registration into ECE BC, the Association of Early Childhood Educators at BC, or of any other association in Canada. You would have to do that on your own. And yes, if people wanted to open their daycare, they certainly can. They would have to follow the requirements of the province with regards to early childhood education in terms of their certification as well. But yes, the master's provides you with a position that you can coordinate programs. It doesn't provide any administrative training, so that's a separate training because some people are interested in this. So in the statement of intent, you would write any of these, but basically what you see yourself gaining with this master's. Yes, I went a little bit on the side because the question that was here. Yeah.
We're also looking for a resume, which includes all of your education, any coursework, employment history, volunteer work, any related experience like publications, blogs, newsletters, websites. Do you want to speak to that, Mari?
I think it's a pretty typical resume. Just make it very clear so that you list. It's really clear when you list your education that it matches exactly with your papers, right? Because then when the committee is reviewing, they can see, oh yes, this person completed this program, and I can see it reflected in their transcripts. If you include things that you don't have in your transcripts, it becomes confusing and incomplete. And then it is important that you have your courses, especially the early childhood education courses included in the CV, and employment history with any short description of what you have done. Have you been a teacher? Have you been a special education assistant? Have you been a coordinator, a family worker? If you have volunteer or any other related experience, just add it all there, just as you would in any resume. The publications is important. Don't underestimate your potential. You may have been doing newsletters, or you may have your own blog that relates to early childhood education or to education. So any of that, bring it on so that we can take a look. Jen is saying, if applying with a BEd as well as a postgrad certificate in early childhood education, can 6 credit from postgrad certificate be transferred to this master's? We will be speaking to this in a little bit. Basically, I'm just going to give the rule of thumb, right, which is not double dipping. So if you apply with your credits that you put forward to the application, you cannot bring them forward later on for equivalences. So I will speak to this. So if you have too many credits and you want to save a couple of credits, let's say 3 to 6 credits, and they are not important for your application, then you can save them, and then if you are admitted, then put them forward for your electives. But I'll speak to this very soon. I don't want to get too much ahead of myself.
We're also looking for a 500-word description of a topic in the area of early childhood education that you wish to study in depth in the program. For instance, play, outdoor education, social justice, children with special needs. Mari, do you want to speak to that one?
Sure. So generally, you have your statement of intent. What is it that you're pursuing professionally? But then you also have a description of something that is a passion or an interest of you, and then you would like to go deeper. Maybe you have worked with this area in the past, but this is your chance to express it. Interestingly enough, when we take the first course with research methods, students usually go back to what they had in their admission, and they want to investigate this for their research proposal for that course. And later for the e-portfolio at the end, I'm seeing how students go back to where they started, and then they look at, oh yes, I was so interested in this topic. So you would express it as clearly as possible, and why. And if you have any references about this, even better. It will strengthen your application.
We're also looking for one sample of academic or professional writing, such as a term paper or a substantial scholarly paper. Your resources must be cited, and it should be on an early childhood topic. There's also two articles on the program website that you could choose from if you don't have a term paper or you've lost these things. You can choose one out of the 2 articles that is listed on the program website and write about it. I believe it's 600 words, and submit that as part of your application.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to that, Mari?
No, that you said it very clearly. That's exactly so. Like some students go like, oh, but I graduated 10, 15 years ago. I don't have any of these papers. And so we have provided some topics that are interesting and that can be provide like a provocation for students to write. And then what we want to see is your scholarly writing capacities. How can you express an idea and hold it, and then supported with the relevant references. So basically, and we use APA, which is the preferred referencing method for education, but that will be explained in the academic sample. Yeah.
We're also looking for 2 years or more years of professional experience working with young children in appropriate settings such as a daycare or preschool, coordinating summer camps, counseling children, but it must be paid work. Do you want to speak to that,
Yes,
Mari?
and I also wanted to go back for a minute to Zora, because she's asking, is there an area where the specification for writing the letter of intent available? if there's written, and I think there is a description that says exactly what you need to submit, but there isn't a sample of a letter of intent. This is something that we might consider including later on, but not right now because it's something that hasn't been asked before. Basically, the 500 and what we said before, like what are your professional interests and what is it that you want to sort of get out of this master's degree program. And with regards to 2 years of more professional experience, very ample. It used to be only with early childhood um, um, preschools, and I think there's a question from someone, so I'm going to stop in a second. But it could also be an out-of-school care, neighborhood house, working with children and families, of course, a school teacher, preschool teacher, any NGOs or government program for working with children. So, and our age is spans between birth and 8 years old. So you have a little bit of leeway there for early childhood. And Carrie says, attachment theory, social and emotional infant mental health, would that be relevant to a topic of study? Of course, any topic of your interest it would be relevant if you center it around the early years. You're welcome. So,
Hi, can I just ask a question, please?
sure.
So I just want to clarify, it's 500 words of a statement of intent, and then on top of that, it's another 500 word description of a topic?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
500 plus 500. Right there, so we don't forget. You're welcome.
We're also looking for 3 references, so 1 academic and 2 professional references. So your professional references should be from people that have supervised you. Do you want to speak to that, Mari?
Yes, we do receive many questions about this many times because of early childhood as a world. Professional world is different from others, and many times you are in like parent-run programs or like co-op programs, and or you have like a board uh, with whom you're working. It needs to be someone uh, who has been in a supervisory position, and again, as Yvette said before, in a paid supervisory position. So it couldn't be your volunteer supervisor. It has to be someone who really provided input on your work and your job depended sort of on their feedback. So that is very, very important. If you have a board of directors and they are in your agency, or if you're in an indigenous community and you have, I don't know, the elders who are overseeing. So as long as they are connected with your program in a supervisory and management decision-making position, they could certainly be. And I'm adding this part because I did have a conversation with someone over the phone, and this was one of the scenarios, and I think it's important to know.
So someone works in a daycare and they're running a daycare.
Oh, that's a very important one, Yvette. Yes, so if you are you're running your own daycare, it would be someone from someone in the board. If it's a parent on the board, that's a little bit tricky. You would then try to find something from a previous employment, or we would have to examine that situation. I don't have an answer for, because it has happened, for a case by case situation. If it's a small program and you are the only owner, you have no one to supervise you, you have no board, we would have to work on a case by case situation that I don't want to extend here.
Could they provide 2 academic references and 1 professional reference in that case?
They could provide, if they had an additional academic reference, yes, for that. I think there is some flexibility with that, like at one point, someone with a stellar record had one academic and two strong professional references, and we haven't had the opposite, but that is a possibility, but it falls then into the special cases, bless you, the special cases considerations. It's important that people know this.
The other thing is your references should be able to speak to your ability to do graduate work. Do you have anything to say about that? To do graduate work, your ability to do graduate work.
That is for, the content of the references. Yes, the content of the academic references would speak to your ability to do graduate work in terms of the way that you research the information, that you complete, written or oral presentations, and also the quality of you as a student. And in the professional reference, the quality would be how they observe you as a professional who is ready to undertake, a graduate program with all the responsibilities and the level that this entails. Yes. And Melissa is asking the question. Typical references for classroom teachers, administrators, or someone else.
Principals, vice principals.
Yes, principals and vice principals, sometimes head teachers, if they are in a supervisory position.
Department head.
For department head, yeah, that's department head is more in high schools, but in head teachers in elementary schools could also provide a reference. Yes, usually is an administrator, like principal or vice principal.
I'd like to clarify on the academic reference, please.
Go ahead.
So would it be okay if I use a letter that my faculty advisor wrote to me when I was a student in the BEd program?
That letter would be for that purpose. You need a letter that is written for the program. Like, can this student, I mean, by all means, attach the letter to the application, because it's really nice to have that, but the reference letter should write to your capacities to undertake a graduate program. Now, when this letter was written, you were already thinking of the graduate program and there is mention to it, it may work. I would have to see, or the admission committee would like to see this. I don't know if Vicky or Yvette have something else to say about this.
If you're going to upload a letter like that, you would upload it under experience and interests.
Okay.
The same place where you would upload your statement of intent and resume.
Yeah. And Shannon, what if we haven't taken in-person academic courses in quite a few years and don't have someone who would be really able to seek an academic reference? There are another way to seek academic reference. My courses since graduating 2008 are all online. What I always tell students is that, I get asked for references letter weekly. Right now I have two former students who have asked for reference letters. Sometimes they come back 10 years later and I go like, oh my goodness. So I ask them for a bit of a refresher, so can you remind me which course, and can you provide me, your final assignment? And then I keep things in my files. Not everybody does that. Ideally, it would be no more than 5 years. But if this is the case, online references, online course references count. I teach online and I provide those. So how else could you take another academic reference would be if you have taken another Pro-D course but hopefully with credits from a reputable institution. Reputable, I shouldn't say reputable because that sounds a little bit different, but accredited institution that would be recognized. So basically you need someone to speak to your capacity as a graduate student. Again, if none of this is possible, your case will be entered as a special case and see what your other references speak in this regard. And then Zora says, in terms of scholarly writing, can it be an exhaustive research article that far exceeds 600 words in the area of early childhood? Do you mean for the writing piece that is, we are really wanting it? Okay, so the scholarly writing would be whatever you have in an assignment that you have from the past. If it is an article and it refers to early childhood, that's great. That will probably be longer than 600. Generally, assignments, may be around, 1,000 or more words. So if you have an article, you can try and attach it. I haven't received that before, and that's something that we would have to ask. Maybe you want to send the article along, and that would be something to be seen. It sounds like feasible, but I don't want to say yes or no because that's something that we haven't received. But it would be something in your publications for sure. Like that would be something that you would want in the publications for sure. And Carrie, I was going to use a reference from an associate professor that I work with professionals in the sector. I graduated a long time ago. Can the professor speak to your capacity as a graduate student? Depending on the job work that you have been doing for the professor, that would be it. Yes, it may be that this person can write in both areas. So every time that there is a question that diverges from the general criteria, that means that automatically your application is seen, with criteria for special cases. Some special cases are very special cases. Some of them are just, not as complex special cases. So just for you to know. But all of these are possibilities to be examined. And Shannon, thank you. I'll see who I can find who might be still working with the different programs and facilities. Yes. So this is a detective time that you have until January 31st.
The other thing some of you may want to do when you're looking for, when you're contacting your academic references, to send them a picture of you, let them know when you took their course, if there was any special assignments that you did, and try that method and see if that works. Because I know that there have been many applicants that have been out of school for 10, 15
Yes.
years, and even though the professor may still be at the institution, you may have to remind them of who you are and when you took their course, and any assignments, special projects that you did for that course. So when you're submitting the information for your references, please note that we don't accept emails from Yahoo, Hotmail, Gmail for your references. They should have an organization that they belong to, or that they is where they work, company name that is at whatever whatever organization it is, but not a Hotmail address for them or a Gmail address. And it does state that in the application as well. So once you submit your application, this e-reference link goes out to your referees, and they have a choice between using the form that is provided or uploading their own letter. And instructions are provided to them if they wish to upload their own letter. If it's a retired professor, let's say, and they no longer work, they can mail me the letter, but I cannot accept any faxes or emails from them. So please let your referees know that we do not accept email letters, reference letters, or faxes from them. They either use the e-reference link that's provided, or they mail it in to me. And my address or Vicky's address will be in the application.
And Zora is really wanting to understand more about the uploading process. because this is different from
Okay,
just emailing.
in terms of your documents, like your transcripts, your statement of intent, a description of topic, resume, those things will need to be uploaded to your application. So you're going to scan them and upload them. We want them in a PDF form. For transcripts, we want you to scan them front and back. The back has the grading key that we need to calculate your GPA. Now, in terms of the English language requirement, applicants from a university outside of Canada in which English is not the primary language of instruction must provide results of an English language proficiency examination as part of their application. Tests must have been taken within the last 24 months at the time of submission of your application. And if this applies to you, please contact Vicki and she'll explain further. But typically, it's not the language that your degree was done in. It is the institution, the primary language of the institution that you've attended. There is also another form that we'd like you to fill out on the application, and that is called an Acknowledgement of Part-Time Status form. This is required by the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies. It is a form that's in the application. We would like you to fill it out, sign it, and then upload it to that question where we're requesting it.
Were you addressing Melissa's comment about you don't need mail copies of transcripts from institutions? Most institutions require transcripts be mailed from the university that granted your degree, don't they?
We would like you to request them to be mailed to you. So ask that the transcripts are mailed to you. And you're going to open one and keep the other one sealed. If you are admitted to the program, then the sealed copy will go to the Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies. Now, I will let you know, too, that some institutions have the wrong address of UBC Faculty of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies. So when you get your admissions letter, the address will be in that letter, and you will send it to that address.
That is so important, and thank you, Vicki, for clarifying about, like you needed 2 sets, and then so once you're admitted, then is when you mail the letter, the transcripts back.
So to apply to the program, you'll see a link, grad.ubc.ca/apply/online. And when you do your program search, you type in Master of Education in Early Childhood Education - professional cohort. The professional cohort is the program, the online and part-time program, where you're moving through the program as a group. Or you can type in EC20 and it will be a September start. If you have a UBC ID, please use it for your application. And again, you'll be uploading all of your documents to your application.
Thank you, Vicki. There is a question here. Can we apply and send all documentation, then submit the IELTS score later?
Yes.
This is possible. Okay, so for the question, so ELTS or
when you start your application, if you cannot do it all at once, you could save it and then return to your application. You can also return to your application after you've submitted it to add documents. And you'd have till January 31st, 2020. That is the application deadline. And we hope that the application opens November the 1st. And the current fee for Canadians or for domestic applicants is $106. And for international applicants, it's $168.25 Canadian. So for international applicants applies to those that do not have permanent residency in Canada and who are not citizens.
There is a question about the cost, but I don't know if you're going to speak to total cost. This is
The
just
program?
the program.
Yeah, getting there.
Okay, so then we'll, no. So then I'll hold on to this question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the domestic fee installment currently in this term, the charge is $18.92 and change Canadian plus student fees. And the student fees this term were approximately $745. That's added to the $18.92 and change for domestic tuition fee installment. So right now, the program cost, in terms of the total program cost, is currently $15,140 and change plus student fees. And the international tuition fee installment, slightly different. It is currently $19.29 and change plus student fees. And the current international program tuition cost is $15,437 and change plus student fees. Now these student fees will vary from term to term. I will get to that a bit in a second. Please note that there are 8 installments, minimum payment installments for the program. So that spans your 2.5 years. That the university reserves the right to increase the fees every year, and typically they do in May. And that fees are due September, January, and April or May. And you're charged a whole program fee, not a per credit fee. So the student fees are charged to your tuition, and they vary from term to term. There are 2 things that you may be able to opt out of, but I'll just cover them as if you live in the Lower Mainland, Vancouver Lower Mainland, and that is the medical dental fee, which is currently $256.92, and there's an opt-out vision provided. So you can opt out of this if you already have coverage, and it's done through a student care system or organization, not through our office. So that's a possible savings on your cost, on your tuition costs, as well as there's a Compass card that we use in the Vancouver Lower Mainland, and that is currently $164 per term. So if you live outside of TransLink, our public transit system, either out of province or northern part of the province, or in a place where TransLink cannot reach TransLink, then that's another possible savings for you that live away. But if you are in the Vancouver Lower Mainland, you would get a 3-zone access with public transit for that fee. But an exemption, you would have to apply for this transit exemption each term for those of you that live out of this area. Teacher education certificates. This applies to teachers in the Greater Vancouver Lower Mainland, and it's directed to teachers in Vancouver who have taken students in their classrooms as student teachers. And if this applies to you, I suggest you contact the teacher education office. There's one thing to note with these certificates, and that is they have expiry dates, and they also vary in amount. But if you want further information, please contact the teacher education office. Now, I will not be processing your admissions and applications. It will be Vicki Demansky, so her contact information has been posted here. Does anyone have any further questions about the admissions and application process?
We will have more about the program very soon. This is my section that I have right now, but just in case before this part of the presentation. And so the question is that I had is it under $20,000? So far it is. The full cost was over $15,000. And you talked about installments, and yes, the other part about the program, the length and all of the courses I'm going to cover, and about the assignments and all of this I'm going to cover very soon. I don't know if you wanted to.
There was a question if you have to put down a deposit. There is no deposit.
And the student fees, if you calculate per credit and you take 3 credits per term, it is not really if you were on the on-campus program, it would be different. But with the cohorts, you pay installments, which is exactly what Yvette explained a few minutes ago. So you paid the 7 installments, and with those, you can cover not only the core course, but if you take any electives. So it doesn't change during the program, which is the 2.5 academic years that I'm going to speak to it right away. So I don't know, I haven't calculated 745 per term.
It's for this term.
For the
right
first
now.
term, yes. I want to say thank you to Minu. Were we able to sort out with the other student, the other applicant who could not connect?
I've sent them a message, but I haven't really had a reply, so I think it might be a connection on their part.
On their
Yeah.
part, okay. If by any chance you see something from the office.
Sure.
Thank you, Minu,
No
so
worries.
much. Thank you, Minu, so much. And I'm eager to get started just because of the time. We had excellent questions. I'm eager to start with my presentation. Let me see, because I know that I am going to answer some of your questions. Oh, can we pay? So
Starting from Bonnie.
from Bonnie, is there? Hi there, Vicki. Could you please clarify the academic reference again? You were just starting to type, so
Okay.
Vicki's typing the answer for you. So whatever
that's
you
correct.
Yes.
Okay,
A
for
reference range.
Jennifer, about the $745 per term, no, it is not $745 per term. It's $745 for this term. And that's just currently. I don't know what it will be next year.
Because
It typically goes down as you go through the year. So this is considered, the term we're in now is considered winter term 1, and that where the student fees, and then that's plus your tuition. Your tuition fee is on top of that. Then in winter term 2, the student fees will probably be a bit less. And in the summer term 1 and 2, which it's divided into 2, but it's considered as one term, it's typically even lesser than winter term 2. So I cannot give you amounts for winter term 2 and summer term 1, 2, because I don't have it. But I know for this current term, it was $745. But there's the possible savings for the Compass card or UPass card, as well as the medical dental.
And I would say at this point that it's important, we once the students are accepted, we go over this in the orientation session. Right now, I think it is important that you know sort of like the organization of the payments or or the concept of installment payments, and you look at those amounts, right? But this is, we're looking at 2020, so that would be September 2020, and there would be a slight increase in fees. But basically, for the past 10 years, we have worked with the 7 installments, so they stay. The 8 installments. My apologies, 8 installments. And they stay pretty much the same, except that there is a small increase for every academic year, and Vicky will be following up with this with you. So
Should we
yes.
cover that one question about installments?
Yes.
I know you need to get started.
No, it's okay.
Bonnie, it's 8 minimum payment installments. So you're not paying all at once, but every term, there's 3 terms per year.
Yes.
So you're going to be paying tuition plus student fees 3 times per year.
So September.
So it will span 2.5 years, so that equals the 8 payment installments.
Yes. And Jennifer, I don't know if you want to respond to that, because you have a slide that has the total, right? Maybe you can go back to that slide, because I think maybe it's good that they see it again. There you go. So there you go for Jennifer and all, depending also if you are domestic or international as a student, not where you are. If you are Canadian living abroad, you're still considered domestic. So September, January, and May. You're welcome. Why don't we go to my slide, because I'm getting concerned about the time. Our session ends at 4:30, and I want to say that after these, we will be, ready to answer via email. You can call me for program, questions, and we will be ready to answer any other questions as you begin your process of application. So should I get the keyboard? Sure.
Get the mouse too.
And the mouse. Yes. Once again, it's thank you, for September 2020, and the applications close, January 31st, usually. So, and this mouse is like here?
Yeah.
And this, oh, here you go. Okay, so we covered a little bit of, oopsies. No, here it goes. So we covered a little bit of the other aspects, and yes, it would be really nice if you also typed on the text, what brought you to this program. So now what I do is like a little bit of a tour of the program, and I don't know if there's any other questions for Yvette or for Vicky, but I think if not, I can continue with this. Yes, I think I'm okay, and I if you just give instructions on how to close.
I'll stay.
Yeah, we'll just stay because I want to see the whole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, stay. More people in the room. I love this. So Bonnie said, thank you for clarifying. And Zora, can more credits be taken for term? This is part of what I'm going to be talking about right away. So if you hold for a second, all of these questions about program and courses will be answered. The EC20 program, that would be your cohort. We're actually going to be celebrating in 2021 our 10th anniversary. So as we start your cohort, within that year, we start with a celebration of 10 years. So it's very, very exciting to know this. It is a professional master's program. Someone asked one of the questions if they can go on to do a doctorate. They can, but the training of the program is as a professional master's program, meaning that there is no research thesis attached to it, although we have a graduating course that is called the Graduating ePortfolio. The name of the program is Issues in Early Childhood Research Theory and Practice. And it's really for all of you who wish to expand your knowledge, stretch your boundaries, and grow in yourselves as professionals. Some of you parents as well, and maybe coming from other areas as you explore early childhood education, provided that you have had some experience in it. We also strive on supporting students in their own community settings, because we understand that early childhood is a profession that is linked to community. When you're in a school, when you're in a preschool, when you're in an NGO, in any capacity that you are linked to the community of children and families with whom you're working, and of administrators or other professionals and interdisciplinary professionals. So usually our students who are, and you will see some quotes from them as well, they really come from an incredible, rich and diverse background, professionally with previous volunteer experience, or the different areas they have chosen to explore. So this is why, even if it's early childhood education, it does include other people who are not necessarily teachers. So that's important that you know about this. And so this is just about the general program, and this is probably what attracted you to it. And it is a cohort-based program. What does it mean? It means that everybody begins together. And it also means, in response to Zora's question, that it offers one 3-credit course, core course, per term. At the end of the program is 30 credits. 26 of these credits are offered during the 2.5 academic years. Someone asked why 2 and not 2. Why 2.5 and not 2? Because pretty much it's like 2 years from September to May, and then 1 year, 2 years where you have 3 semesters, and the last year you only have 2 semesters, and then you're finished. So you're finished at the end of the winter. So it is a cohort program, and you need to take 2 credits, 2 courses as electives. And in those terms, you will take 2 courses, unless you had them for before, like Jennifer asked before, what if I have extra credits and may put forward to my program? This has to be evaluated. But basically, you have 1 core course per term. You cannot take more than 1 core course per term, Zora. You cannot accelerate this program. Like, some people would like to accelerate the program, but it's not possible, because in our online offering, the courses are offered 1 every term. Sadly, we cannot do that. It follows a sequence, okay? You can see that sequence in the link that you see on the slide, and the slides are going to be available for you to see, so you can go to those slides. And it is part-time. It was designed part-time as a professional master's, because students, this is what they wanted. They're working full-time, and when one of the questions here is, how much do you study, and about your assignments and the dedication and the exams. Pretty much, if you consider 3 hours per credit per week, right? If you consider that rule of thumb that is also applicable for undergraduate, it's pretty much the same in undergraduate and a bit more, depending on your familiarity with the material offered, okay? So you are looking at least 9 hours of study a week, but it could be more, depending again on the reading content, on if you're engaged in a major assignment, or if you are engaged in a group discussion. So it's important for you to know. If you're taking an elective at the same time, usually we don't recommend that happens until you finish the first academic year, just to make sure that you have really, really grounded yourself in the program. The course content, I'll go over. The program is multidisciplinary. The core courses have been written and designed online specifically for this master's program. Someone asked if this is the first online program in the questions. it is in Canada. That doesn't mean that someone else is not designing one as we speak, but it's the first online early childhood education master's program in Canada. One of the graduating students wrote about the experience of being on an online program and the way that she interacted or he interacted with other students that felt as if they were in person, even if they never really may have met them. And this also responds to another question from an applicant about the interaction with others. I will talk about a little bit later about opportunities to interact in person, but you have the chance to be constantly interacting with other students and with instructors, which is a wonderful thing about the program. Carrie, sorry that you have to leave, but you will be able to follow this in the recorded. And yes, and Vicky just replied to that, which is excellent. So I'm ready to move to the next slide. Bye, Carrie. So when I talk about multidisciplinary program, it means that there are several areas that stem out of different departments. So one course it comes from the Language and Literacy Education Department, which is LLED. Other courses come from our program, Early Childhood Education, ECED, including the electives that you usually take. ECPS is Educational Counseling, Psychology, and Special Education, and EDUC is the Education Department where the Teacher Education Office is centered. So the next slide, you can see that, again, what I mentioned before, you will earn a total of 30 credits, so it's 3 credits per course, as I said before, and so you'll have 6 of those credits will be your electives. How do you get your electives? You have a link there where you go to Early Childhood Education and you will see all the opportunities you have to take them online. There are other possibilities for electives that I will talk right away. And very important, a question that I get asked constantly, when you receive your degree, it will state Master of Education in Early Childhood Education. It will not stay online. It's exactly the same program as the on-campus program. Although the on-campus program has other electives or other possibilities for core courses, it's a little bit more flexible if you take it on campus, if you have that opportunity. But the diploma or the degree received is identical, unless you want to say to the person, it's online. And it's nothing wrong with being online, but I get asked this question a lot. If you would like the link, sure. And if I can send it at the end, or if Vicky is able to send it, that's great too, from the electives. Perfect. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So can we move on to the next slide? Oh, I have this thing that is so silly. I forgot I have this. I got in France in my presentation, and Vicky has given me this. Thank you. At the end of the day. What are opportunities following graduation? Many people ask this, and I responded to it a little bit before. You can advance to senior administrative, professional, consultation, program coordination roles. You can teach in post-secondary institutions, including in colleges. And for example, we have some of our undergraduates who have graduated from the master's program teaching in 300 and 400 level courses right now, which is quite exciting, and they love it. And some of them have taught into like a Vancouver summer program, which is different from the Summer Institute, and some of them have taught online or are writing online courses right now, which is very, very exciting. One of them, I just received this email about 6 months ago that this program allowed the student and the coach to attain her dream job, which was a leadership position in the school district. Now, you may already have a leadership position in the school district, and then maybe you're ready to move into more of a principalship or like a board superintendent role. The sky is the limit. But basically, with the Masters of Education program, you can advance to senior positions. In British Columbia, you would check in other provinces in Canada if your teacher qualification salary system would allow you to upgrade into a higher category for your payment, which is really nice. So you would have to check with your office. I also wanted to let me see if I have. Oopsies. Here, yes, I wanted to go over the courses so that you could have an overview and then expand a bit more on the electives. The courses that you have here with the names of the instructors, they are instructors who have taught in the past, meaning that you may have some of these instructors or may not, depending on the course. And for some of the instructors who are not permanent faculty, if they are already hired for the next term. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. The dryness of the heat always does it to me, and I forgot to sip water. So the first course is the Education 500 Research Methods in Education, and I'm the one teaching it. So we have an opportunity to meet each other as not only cohort advisor, but as instructor, and in that way it's really nice. The second course is the review of research in early childhood education. And Dr. Iris Berger has taught this course in the past. It could be another wonderful faculty member. And it's followed by early childhood education development, intervention, and inclusion in early childhood education taught by Dr. Lara El-Khatif. And it's a wonderful course that looks at special needs in education or special rights, special gifts. Then followed by advanced seminar in research in early childhood education, social cultural perspectives. And in the past, Dr. Marlene Asselin has studied. She's our director right now. So it could be that Dr. Iris Berger, who has studied in the past, also teaches it this term, this year. And the LLED course that I mentioned before is Theory and Research in Early Literacy with Dr. Guofang Li. And the other course in the second summer is supporting young children's social and emotional development in early childhood education that has been taught by Dr. Veronica Smith in the past. And again, we don't know who will be teaching it that summer, but there's always someone in our pool of faculty teaching the course. And then the program ends with the seminar in research in early childhood education, leadership and policy in early childhood education. That's a cherry on the top. And with this final course taught by Dr. Iris Berger, you begin your graduating course, your final course, which right now in our program is the e-portfolio, the electronic portfolio, where you sort of put together all of your wisdom in an electronic portfolio that we will learn more, during the orientation. So basically, this is when you end the program, which is by April, you're ready, you have already presented your portfolio and ready to apply for graduation. And this is why it is 2.5 academic years. So there's a question from Bonnie that I believe, you have addressed. Vicky, thank you. And I think we're ready to move until the next slide, which I have because I have my mouse.
It's okay.
Too far. And we went back. So I talked before about elective courses and the pool of elective courses, and Vicky, I already posted her link. So you could see the schedule at UBC and see which course would match with your interest and with your term to take it for that elective course. However, you have more options. You could come to courses on campus. And you could take like a full summer course on campus, or maybe you are in Vancouver for a little while and you want to take a non-campus course in another term. That is possible as an elective. In fact, it's great because you could take a 500 level, which is a graduate course, as elective on campus. Electives can be 300 and 400 levels. But you could also take a summer institute. And last year or last summer, we had trauma, risk, and resiliency, working with young refugee children and families, which was a total success. And every year we have a new summer institute. Summer institutes last 1 week or 10 days, and you take them for credit, and it provides you with the 3 credits while you're taking the other summer course, which is really neat. There is like a small pool of students that can get into the Summer Institute, but there's several options with the professional development, community engagement unit that you can see there are different options. But of course, we love ours the best, the early childhood education. And hopefully, you will be able to attend the first year or the second or both. I always invite students that if they want to get started a bit earlier, and this is a little bit of a gambling situation. Some students have been successful at taking the Summer Institute, for example, in July 2020, even before they began their program. So when you register for the Summer Institute, you would know if you would have been admitted to the program. And then what you do is that you save those credits and then you write to Vicky and to me, and then those courses are put forward towards your program as an equivalence for an elective. So in this way, you can advance one of your electives. What is the disadvantage? That you pay for it. So it's not prepaid, not prepaid, but it's not in the installment. Like if you were to take the same Summer Institute a year later, that would be within your installment payments. If you take it beforehand, you are paying uh, as uh, as per credit like anybody else. So, and yes, and you enter as an unclassified student. Even if you have been admitted to the master's, you are still taking that course as an unclassified student. Thank you, Vicky, for Yvette, for correcting me.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
So
Clarify this.
If
Yes.
you take any courses prior to starting the program, then you have to apply as an unclassified student. So then there's an application fee for that. You have to provide a transcript for your undergraduate degree, and that's done through the teacher education office. If you hold off and take your electives in the program, then it's covered under your tuition. So you can take as many electives as you wish along with the required courses once you're in the program. But it means that you'll have to manage your time and your workload.
And you need special permission as
And
well.
special permission
Yes,
from our.
yes, because and I had a student once who wanted to, basically, she was able to finish her program and to take a second program, like a diploma in it, but she had to have a special permission, and in her case, she wasn't working at the time for some special circumstances, so this allowed her to do this, but it's a special case. I don't recommend more than 2 courses at the same time. It can be very, very heavy on the students, and you need to maintain a certain standard of, average has to be over 76%, which is B plus, your minimum average. So yeah, so as an advisor, if I see someone who is trying to register to 10 courses, I will say, hold it. we need to talk first. Yes. So again, this is information that I think it's important for you to have. I would worry more right now about the whole application and admission um, procedure if you're interested, but this is good for you to know what are your possibilities. So what about if you had those credits like Jennifer mentioned, and you want to put them forward, you do so. The Office of Graduate Programs evaluates if this is these are credits that are suitable for credit transfer. However, you could also be in a place where you have a university that is close to you, like in Calgary or in Edmonton or in Prince George or in Toronto with McGill. I believe it's one of them. And if they are signatories to what is called the Western Dean's Agreement, and you take a course there that I have previously seen that complies with all the requirements, that it's a percentage-based course, that of course the topic is related to early childhood education or teaching post-secondary early childhood education, and that you haven't taken before, then you could register without paying there, because through the Western Dean's Agreement, once you register there, the tuition would be covered through the UBC tuition. And then when you finish, you have the university send transcripts to UBC, and voila, you have 3 credits, and you have been able to attend to a university close by. So that's for you can do the 2 electives like this. We have had this happen several times, and uh, as I said, your payment would not be affected. But you could see that students are really excited. Someone is interested in art as an art educator, so she took an art course at the University of her province, and it was amazing. And she says, I was surprised and really appreciated how I was able to apply this course to my own learning through art. So this is an opportunity that maybe she wouldn't have had here to do it in person, right? To apply this person, or it wouldn't have been within the pool of online courses, right? So that's just another option for you to know. When you look at the electives, of course, the number 1 priority is early childhood courses. However, it may be that you are interested in adult and higher education, or in counseling psychology, or in educational counseling psychology, home economics, learning language and literacy, or library teaching librarianship. So if any of these departments through the online offering on PDC offers an online course during the summer or any other term that you would like to take as an elective, please consult with me. We will go over, see how it fits your program. And yes, indeed, this could be one of your electives. One of the students recommended homeschool and community relationships, and this is one of the electives in the early childhood program. And so I guess Vicky is responding to Jennifer. No. Okay, so you're going to, okay. No. You want me to say?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, no, you pay the UBC fees because the fees allow you to take credits elsewhere. I don't know if you want to explain it in a better way.
Basically, you're only paying UBC's fees. You're not paying it at the institution where you decide to take. If you're taking something at the University of Calgary under the Western Dean's Agreement, you've already paid your tuition to UBC. You don't pay anything extra, but it does have to be approved at both ends. UBC has to approve it. The institution you take the course has to approve it.
Has to be registered. Yeah, basically. Yes. Sometimes what students do is that they write to the instructor teaching the course, and they say, I would like to do this. And and can you tell me more about the course? And then the instructor responds, and then we have more information, and then it's just follows the requirements. Yes, Jennifer.
Okay, thanks for taking my question. So just so I'm clear, I could not apply to transfer 6 credits from a postgraduate certificate in early childhood education taken at Queen's University to essentially cover my electives in this program?
You could after you have been admitted to the program, not before. Yes. Provided that you don't put those for your application for the program. You'll have to hold on those. Yes, and then after that, and then you would follow up with Vicky.
Yes. But you're still paying the full program, so it's not like
all the installment fees are the same. Yes,
you have to be registered term. Jennifer.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it does not discount those installment
Exactly.
fees, no, because
I understand
if
your
you take
question.
one course a term or you take 6 courses a term, that installment fee is the same. But the key thing is if those courses you've taken applied to a degree that you graduated with somewhere else, they're not transferable. They have to be extra credits.
Yes, I realize that. That's what I'm asking for because I have extra credits.
Yes, it's a bit tricky. Thank you for clarifying. And for Zora, it's a maximum of 6 credits, so 2 courses you can take in advance before the program begins. And those would be your 2 electives. But make sure that before you take them to consult with me, for example, just to make sure that those will be, relevant and applicable, because they need to have a marking that is percentage based, and they need to be 300 and 400 level. They need to be at UBC, or if you're saving them from elsewhere, they need to be from an institution that is approved by UBC. And that's a bit tricky, we have found out. So it's very good to check before you do that. You're welcome. So we're getting towards the end of our presentation very soon, but basically we want to sort of reiterate the support from instructors like me and cohort advisors like me, but also to the team that you have been in contact today with Vicky today with this transitioning towards admissions, and then um, Yvette transitioning to Vicky, and also someone like Minu in the ETS unit supporting online, and knowing that you have the professional development community engagement unit behind our programs. And there's also going to be a graduate academic assistant as a graduate student that will be connecting with you for additional enrichment opportunities. And it's important that you know of the requirements when you want to be connected to an online course, that you will need to have access to internet and to a platform that supports this type of interface, right? So if it worked today, chances are that that is working for you. Um, yes, and I say this because if you are constantly moving around and you have to connect via the phone, or, to get together with other students, because we do the small group discussions, or for submitting assignments, you need to also have like a place where, like a station where you can work in more in depth. So it's important for you to know this. Students also ask about the type of connections that you need with others. You don't need to be the whole program is online, like Yvette says, and you don't need to be at the same time with everybody else synchronously. However, we do have some presentations where we ask people ahead of time. Yes, we're going to need you for this date, and if an emergency happens, there's always ways that they can record whatever they were going to present. But generally, it's asynchronous, which means that you do it on your own time. There are timelines, there are deadlines, they're always in Pacific Standard Times. There are no exams. We don't have exams, there's no proctors. That's one of all the other questions. All the assignments are submitted online. And yes, I think pretty much that's like an overall idea of the program. Do you want to add something, Vicky or Yvette? I'm leaving you with a few quotes from students in year 1, in year 2, and in year 3. And we have students who are presenting at international conferences, students who are about to submit something, or they have just submitted to a journal for publication. So it's very, very exciting in that way. I think I have addressed all of the questions here that we had ahead of time. But if we find, or you find, that you have any other questions, or comments, please do not hesitate to respond, to send an email or to write to me or phone me. My phone number and information and everything is on the website. Yes, right here as well. It's on the last slide. So yeah, any last minute, we are past the time for our session, but if there's one other burning, pressing question or comment, that would be great.
I have actually one thing that I would like to.
Yes, Vicky has something to add.
Yeah,
Go for it.
one of the questions we've gotten was asking if students can get a semester off. I don't think we really covered that.
Oh, I didn't cover that. You're right.
Graduate students are required to maintain their registration continuously for the duration of their program unless they request and are approved to have a leave of absence. So if you have a situation where you're not able to continue with the program for a term or up to a year, it could be parental leave, it could be a medical thing, it could be a professional or personal situation, you need to contact Mari and myself so that we can put in that request for leave. As a master's student, you have a maximum generally of 12 months total. That unless it's parental leave, and then it would be, I think there's a limit per child. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't just decide, oh, this term I'm not going to take a course, I'll take 2 next time. You do have to follow the program. You do have to maintain that registration. But if you do have a situation, let us know. We can request a leave of absence for you.
That is such important. You know, I look at all the questions, but there is, yes, I know I missed it. 18 semester off. This is so important because students say, sometimes they write to me, oh, I'm registering your course. And I always want to say, yes, you're registering in my course, for our course, but you're registered in a program. So when you do all of this very long admission and application for admission, this means that you are admitted to a program. It's a full program, so you cannot just leave because the university says, where are you, right? So when you come back from a leave, if you ever have to take one, work out about, you know, what is the course that you have that you can then connect, and then how to make for the remaining courses. If there is a lagoon in between of the next courses, we work it out through an elective or through an early beginning of the e-portfolio if it's necessary, because you have to have continuous registration. Anything else? Thank you, Melissa. I think she's gone now. Yeah.
For those that want to do a doctorate.
I did talk about that,
Okay.
but I will repeat it again. This is a professional master's program, so it doesn't prepare you for a doctorate, but you can pursue a doctorate afterwards, provided that you fulfill certain requirements from the doctoral program where you are applying. That would ask for some prerequisites, and it depends on the program and school if they are okay accepting MED students with the consideration or the condition that they complete more courses in methodology, or they want to see publications. There's different criteria. We have had students who have then applied very successfully to a PhD program and to an EdD program, and they are one of them has completed, and the other one, or no, sorry, both of them are in the last stages of completion. It's rare, but it is possible. However, if you are trying to pursue a doctorate, I would totally recommend that you look into the MA, Master of Arts program, because that one will give you all the qualifications that you need for a thesis. So I think we should stop the recording of the session now. That is going to be then, so it will be uploaded on the.
Thank you, everyone.